Who is Jenny in your own words, and how does she factor into this story?
Jenny is a character that is a fellow mom of another little boy in the same class as Sarah Snook's character, Marissa. As a person, she really epitomizes, I think, what it can mean to be a woman today, trying to be everything for everyone, to be a wife and mother and a friend and have a career of her own and juggling it all and struggling at times to meet everyone's needs as well as her own. My character and Sarah's character are kind of drawn together under these dressing circumstances. When the sort of mystery and the thriller element of the show begins, they're sort of thrust together, and their relationship could go either way. It could be one of resentment and judgment and them sort of being pitted against one another, or it could go the direction of true friendship and support and compassion. It's not a spoiler to say that they bond together pretty immediately through these circumstances and become a pillar for each of them to lean on in different ways as the series goes on.
I'm also curious as to know what made you want to be a part of this adaptation.
I was really excited at the opportunity to work with Sarah. I was such a fan of hers. Really loved that. A big part of the series for me would be our dynamic and our relationship. So I was very excited by that. And I think hopefully trying to do a realistic portrayal of those things that I just said, of how women really have to balance a lot of things, feel the need to do it perfectly all the time, and that's obviously impossible. Yeah, getting to portray Jenny's journey of starting out as a bit of a people pleaser, and I don't say that in a negative way, just like a genuine person that wants to be good and do her best, and then her journey of kind of finding a more powerful side of herself, owning a little bit more of the spaces that she inhabits. So I thought that that was something that a lot of people could relate to and maybe see themselves in her a little bit.
In the show, moms are constantly judged for whatever reason, whether they have a career or just one kid. Now, do you think that this kind of can catch a break is indicative of what it means to be a woman nowadays?
There's a lot of women who make it look effortless and easy, but nothing is effortless and easy. It takes a lot of work to keep it all together. Be the person that everyone is asking the questions to. I certainly ask my mom all of the questions in my life. So, and of course, like, this movie, in the title, All Her Fault, like there's definitely, it's definitely like about women, but it's not a hit piece on the men either. It's just sort of, it's kind of highlighting the differences between the two and in a partnership and the dynamics. There are differences, and it's not about better or worse or anything like that. I think men and women handle things differently and see things differently. The things that women see that sometimes men just don't, and no fault of their own, they just kind of don't see it and maybe leave it to their wife to pick up the pieces and go along their way. It was interesting to try and make a very realistic portrayal of that.
You've been subjected to a similar kind of scrutiny ever since you started out 2 decades ago. Now, I'm curious as to know, how have you learned to cope with it or to not let it affect you?
I just don't. No, I don't really worry about it. I know who I am. I've always had a very strong sense of myself, have a truly wonderful family and fantastic friends. I've been really lucky to work with people throughout my career that have been so inspiring, genuinely helpful to me and interested in me, and have given me so many incredible opportunities. I've been very, very lucky in that respect. And all the other stuff just kind of can't totally worry about it. And I think it's interesting that now everyone in society has a little bit of a taste of what that's like with social media. Even if you're not a recognizable person, there's still an element of scrutiny just in your own friends group, in your own little world. The playing field is a little bit leveled in that everyone kind of understands what it's like to have your life kind of really looked at and maybe, picked apart. I don't feel alone in that, but I just don't worry about it too much.
One of the things that I like the most about your character is that she ultimately learns not to bend over backwards in order to be liked by people. Do you think that characters like Jenny are helping reshape what we think of when it comes to female characters in movies and television?
Maybe, yeah, I hope so. People are like, oh, I want a really complicated character, really complex female character. I've even said that in the past, but aren't we all? I mean, everyone is so layered and everyone has complexities, contradictions, and subtleties, and we're all filled with that. Playing a character that has all of those things that everyone naturally has is good and interesting. At the end of the day, I think Jenny is just a person trying to figure it out, as we all are.